Hello, fellow truckers, and welcome back to American Truck Simulator. We're basically coming back to the same place where we dropped off our last load, it seems like. But I needed to go and get some rest because, if you remember, we were getting really tired at the end of that last run, so I had to run up the road a little ways, stop off at a rest area, get some fuel, and then ideally we have a load to pick up over here, so I think it's this thing right in front of us. So let's pop into here. We'll hop into the freight market, and we will grab this backhoe loader going to TRUCKEE, California, which is going to take us over this way, and hopefully we can swing over into Nevada after this and get out of California. That's my goal anyways. Let's get the head tracking turned off. I want to, let's make sure we're not going to get hit by anybody. Let's get ourselves turned around. Okay. Get ourselves backed up, and then we'll get on the road. If you are wondering about my control setup, I am currently using OpenTrack face tracking software for my head tracking. Like, oops, wrong way. That's what happens when you talk when you're trying to do things. Did we make it? Nope, I didn't make it under there. Oops. Try that again. Sorry, oh, come on. All right, sorry about that. I'm using OpenTrack face tracking software for looking around with my head. I can turn that on and off with a keybind, so that is helpful for me because when I'm in backing up mode, I don't like using the head tracking. I'm using the Logitech flight yoke system with rudder pedals as my steering system. So you can check out all that stuff down in the description. I have links for Amazon links for purchasing all of that stuff. Helps out the channel. Thank you very much for those of you who have chosen to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for my channel member. Much appreciated for him. And, you know, hopefully we'll get a lot more as the channel continues to grow. But, yeah, we're on our way out to TRUCKEE, California. Oh, I'm gonna try to get my my high beams back on, but it's always a I was about to say, can I get my lights on, please? There's always a car coming as soon as you turn them back on. It's kind of frustrating. But it's dark, and I don't want to be struggling to see things. Let's get around this curve. This is the third time that I'm coming back down this particular stretch of road. I drove up this way to get to the rest area where I rested, and I came back down this way to come pick up this load. And now we got to come back up this way again to get back out to the freeway. That's going to take us to TRUCKEE, but it's only 200 miles. Probably still long enough that we're only going to get one load in on this particular run. But as I said in a previous episode, I'm not really trying to cram in loads for this. I was trying to do that at first because I wanted to get, you know, a reasonable amount of progression per run. But honestly, I drive like crap when I'm rushing like that. So I'm going to try to slow things down just a little. Okay. Why does that button always... I don't know. It clicks like the button's working. It clicks in the game like the button's working, but then it doesn't actually change my light settings, so... Not sure what the deal is with that. It might be the headlight mod that I have that's supposed to make it more realistic. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to put a list of my mods down in there because it's going to make my description a million miles long. I mean, I don't have like a million mods, but there's enough on there that putting a list of them is just going to be ridiculous. So I have some sound mods. I have some I have a physics mod. I have I guess we're starting to get into the morning time. I have a physics mod to make bouncing around in the truck a little bit more realistic. I have I think I have a traffic mod in there. Obviously, I have the route advisor mod. I have some accessory mods. That's why I have the big GPS over there on my screen there. Oh, I think I have my automatic high beams turned on, which, you know, it's funny because it never actually turns them on. It'll turn them off, but it doesn't turn them back on. All right, so we need to turn to the right here. Try to keep our trailer out of the grass, but not hit this guy as we turn. I think we're okay. All right, let's get over to the freeway, and then we can really start chewing up some miles. But anyways, yeah, I appreciate those of you who take the time to let me know that these videos are something that you like to watch, especially these trucking videos that are brand new. And anytime I start a new series of any kind, especially when it's more or less unrelated to previous things that I do, it takes a little bit to build those up. So, you know, I try to give it a little while to see if the view count starts coming up, the watch time starts coming up, all that kind of stuff. But after a while, I'll give up on a series if it's not really going anywhere. I think my channel has grown enough to the point that I can take a little bit less time to figure that out. Mostly I'm just trying to play games that I enjoy playing, and once I get bored with a game, that's kind of the death knell for it. Like, I really enjoyed playing Fallout 4, and I have a full playthrough, a completely full playthrough of that entire game from start to finish with all the downloads and with all of the DLC and all of that stuff. That is on the channel. I am rapidly approaching the 1,000 video mark for my channel, which is actually kind of cool. But I also produce, 5 videos a day, so you get to that pretty quick when you're making that many videos. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that no matter how much I enjoy a game, once I start getting bored with it, yeah, it's gonna be pretty much done. So unless I can come up with cool ways to make American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator more fun and interesting as I continue on, I don't know how long-term of a series this is going to be. We'll build up our career, we'll build up our truck, we'll get to the point where, we've unlocked most of the map. I mean, I guess the cool thing about this game is that there's just so many places to visit. So, hopefully, especially if you guys are interested and are along for the ride, and it's not just me driving around and I get bored, motivating comments down below certainly do help. And those of you who choose to leave comments and likes and, add to the watch time instead of just clicking off to go find something else, that's, it's very much appreciated and helps me be motivated to continue making these videos. That's the only thing about this face tracking software is if I touch my face, see, it makes me look off to the left. I didn't move my head, I touched my face, and it's it's the only thing. The Track IR is definitely a much better solution as far as the head tracking part of it goes. And as much as I'd like to have a Track IR, there's two things that kind of take that away from me. Number one is the price. I don't want to spend $150 on a freaking head tracking solution. And number two is if I'm going to wear something on my head, I'd rather just wear a VR headset. And but unfortunately, the VR in this game is very much a hacked kind of thing, and the developers haven't actually made this game for VR, so the VR that is available for this is not good. It's just not good. Yeah, it's not. I mean, obviously, I don't have the kind of system that'll allow me to turn my graphics up like super, super high. But even other content creators have said that the graphics and the VR graphics in this game just are kind of garbage. So, it is what it is. For the most part, I'm content to play this in 2D, even though it's nice to have the depth perception and the immersive feel of being in here. But I mean, you guys aren't going to get that, so there's that. And then, I have the Pimax 5K, Pimax 5K, I think it's the Super. I think that's what the appellation is for it. But it's just a big headset, and it's heavy, and I don't like wearing it for long periods of time. So that kind of... Are we staying on this road, or what are we doing? The GPS is making it very confusing as to... Oh, I think we were supposed to get off there. Yeah, that was very confusing. They really should have did a better job of letting me know. That's the thing about this. That's the thing about the map on this game, is that it's very confusing because they don't let you know. Okay. Well, it looks like we're going to have a relatively easy exit over here, and it'll redirect us around. So, and it didn't look like it added too many miles onto the trip. It's unfortunate that happens, but sometimes there's not much you can do about it. Let's make sure we're not going to hit anybody as we come over here to the right. I'm trying to be as responsible of a driver as I can, but sometimes I come across things where it's just like, you know what, I don't feel like dealing with this right now, and there's no consequences, so I'm just going to go. But anyways, as I was saying, I mean, it's great to have the Pimax 5K, but first and foremost, my system just... The PC that I have just really isn't capable of running it at any kind of... running any of the games at the resolution that the 5K can run at. So there's that. That's the first and foremost thing. If you've watched any of my DCS stuff, you know that I've struggled with that. because, you know, I like to be able to see what I'm looking at, and unfortunately, yeah, it just doesn't work. I need a much more robust system. I'm running on a 2060 Super. You know, not exactly a powerhouse graphics card at this point. You know, it was fine when I was originally buying it to run Microsoft Flight Simulator back when it first came out, but, you know, these days it's just not up to the task of VR and all that stuff. But, you know, what I'd really like to do is, obviously, first and foremost, I'd like to upgrade my PC to something that can run games at higher resolutions and run things in VR without having to really struggle too hard. But then at the other side of it is I really want to try out that big screen Beyond VR headset, because is this going to take us like all the way back around to the original freeway that we were on? I want to try that big screen Beyond VR headset because all the reviews that I've seen for that are very positive, and I'm not the kind of person who needs like max, like the perfect graphics, and it has to be the best it can be, and the big screen Beyond, while it apparently doesn't have quite the same visual clarity as something like the Pimax Crystal or whatever that other premium brand that's out there that everybody's going crazy over, for me, the form factor, the weight, the small size, the fact that it's basically just covering your eyes and nothing else is very, very appealing to me, and I really want to try it out and see if it's as good as everyone says it is as far as the comfort factors. There's a lot of YouTubers who have said that they wear that all day and they forget that they're wearing it, and that's exactly the kind of VR experience I'm looking for, because if I could get a system that can run VR pretty well, like the games that I play, obviously, you know, games that have been, I was able to run Half-Life Alyx at pretty reasonable graphics, but that was a game that was designed and optimized for VR. But in most of the stuff I play is actually like simulator games like this. Most of the things that I want to do in VR are games that were designed for flat screen and have been adjusted so that we can play in VR. And that's not exactly an optimized experience. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. But I'd like to try out that big screen Beyond to see if it's going to be, you know, as comfortable as everybody says that it is. Because if it is, I would happily spend most of my... I would do this game in VR. I would do my Euro Truck Simulator in VR. I would do Elite Dangerous in VR. Like, all of my games I would do in VR except for, obviously, the hunting game. But even then, there's a program called Vorpex that will allow you to play even games that haven't been developed for VR and kind of convert it into a hacky kind of VR. And supposedly it looks pretty good if you can get it set up. I tried it once, but I couldn't figure out the new version of the program to make it work. And I got frustrated, and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. It was irritating me. I'm easily irritated, like most people today. I don't have a lot of patience. I want things to just work. And especially at this point in my life, I don't want to spend hours and hours trying to figure out how to make something work. I want it to just work. And if you're going to develop something, you should make it so that it just works. And especially if I'm paying money for it, if I paid money for a product and you're continuing to provide support for that product, I shouldn't have to configure anything. I shouldn't have to do anything. It should just work out of the box. I have very little patience for this modern era of early access and all of this other stuff where they expect you to pay full price. They expect you to become a tester, but you're not really getting a deal on anything anymore. Like early access used to be, you know, you got a reduced price because it was expected that you were going to have to put up with a bunch of BS. But now everybody's just charging full price for stuff, and it's like, I don't know. But we've definitely gotten to a place where, you know, the people who make things nowadays they don't put the time and effort into making a quality product anymore. And now it's on the user to just figure out how to make it work for your specific application. I'm like, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. If I'm buying secondhand merchandise and I'm buying it for an application that is clearly not intended for what it is I'm trying to use, okay, maybe, you know, maybe I'll have to figure out some finagling to make it work, but there's a lot of situations where it's just like, you guys just didn't do your jobs, and you're trying to get money for a product. You're trying to get full price for a product you didn't put full effort into. It's super frustrating. Okay, Mr. Bus Driver, I would like for you to get out of the way because we still have another 60 miles to go, and I'd like to get this load dropped off. I'm glad that this load didn't turn out to be all in the dark, though. It's kind of nice. Can we get over? I don't mind being behind the bus. I just don't want him to slow me down. I'm already only doing 40 miles an hour. We're trying to get up to 55. Truckee's up here in the mountains, and it takes long enough to get over through this stuff without having buses and trucks and other trucks and stuff getting in the way. The original load I was looking at was another load going up to, I think, Reading, and it was a double trailer Walmart load, but I needed to sleep, and that job expired by the time I had finished resting, so oh well. Missed out on that one. I kind of like driving the multiple trailer loads because it feels like you're pulling a train behind you. I like kind of watching those videos that Jeff does over on his channel for the Australia road trains. Those are kind of cool, especially when that episode where he drove through the water. But those episodes are all a couple of years old, so I don't know. I may get into that kind of stuff later on once we've got a nice body of work in the original version of all of this stuff. I mean, I know I have mods installed right now just to make the original experience just a little bit more realistic and immersive. But you know, I may be open to doing some of that Australia stuff. Be kind of fun. But then again, I did hear. I heard a rumor one time, which obviously is not confirmation of anything, that SCS is working on an Australia truck simulator. So if that's the case, that would be really cool. I don't know what the deal is with this bus driver. Like, it's very the AI for that is very ooh, okay. The AI for that's realistic, but the AI for that bus is very unrealistic because every charter bus I've ever seen driving down the road is speeding past all the cars. And this guy's just taking his sweet time. Like he has nowhere to be. The speed limit for buses is the same, even in California, the speed limit for buses is the same as the speed limit for cars, so I don't know why he's chilling out here at 55 miles an hour. Let's start slowing down a little bit. Get that engine brake turned on. Yeah, the problem with the track IR is that it's not like real life, so when I look over here, it's very difficult to keep paying attention to what direction I'm going in. So I end up drifting off in the direction that I'm looking. It's very annoying. Oh, but we need to get off here because this is our exit. So that's cool. So yeah, I know it's only. These are only going to be like right at my minimum of 20 minutes for these videos. But if I tried to hurry up and cram another video in, I'd be crashing and driving like a jerk. And you know, I want to try to be as good at these as I can be, given the fact that I am, you know, basically driving with a flight yoke. Well, not basically. I exactly am driving with a flight yoke. And it's not exactly the most intuitive experience in the world. Obviously, a steering wheel and real pedals would give me a little bit more control and accuracy. And then I remember I did have a steering wheel and pedals and a shifter and all that stuff. I think it was the G9 something 920 or whatever their base model steering wheel is that comes with the shifter. And that was fun. It was fun shifting through the gears and doing all that cool stuff. But as with everything in my life, once I don't need it anymore, I tend to discard it, and I sold that. You know, several years ago. And I always regret it when I come back to something like this and wish that I had it, but at the same time, it's like I gotta cart that thing around for, you know, 2 years. I gotta leave that thing in the storage area for 2 years, just sitting there on the off chance I might, like, what if I never play American Truck Simulator again, or what if I never play any racing games again, or what if I never do any of that, and then I'd have a $150, $200 piece of equipment just sitting there not doing anything. So I guess it's kind of a short-sighted viewpoint. I really should stop doing that, but I also, you know, I tend to be kind of a minimalist when it comes to a lot of things in my life. Sorry. The brake has no resistance to it. It's just a very weak spring. And then if I have a little bit of an emergency there like that, where I felt like I had to stop really hard, I tend to overbrake, and then the truck just goes, "Ert!" And then you're like, ugh. It's super frustrating. But anyways, we're going to get this load dropped off here in the next couple of miles, and then we can go ahead and be done for this episode. So we're almost there. Just need to get through this light. Normally I would cut at this point, but since this episode is so short, I'm not that worried about it. We did end up sitting at this light for a long time, though, because of all the traffic. That kind of sucks. Come on. Give me a green light. You can do it. It's okay. Turn green for me. Feel free. Anytime. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, let's get ourselves turned over here. Make sure we give ourselves plenty of room for that trailer. And we have discovered TRUCKEE. That's very nice. Speed limit through here is 35 miles an hour. Oh, now it's slowing down to 25, so let's get that speed down so we don't get a ticket. Okay, I certainly got enough of those. Accidentally running into areas at full speed, and then all of a sudden the speed changes, and you get unlucky and there's a cop sitting there, and it's like, chink, 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 chink. I apologize if that sounded like something that it wasn't meant to be. It was supposed to sound like the change machine, not something inappropriate, so ignore that. I'm getting tired. Okay. Make sure we're not going to hit anybody. Moving on, moving on, moving on. So it says we're 0 miles away, but we still need to get up to this turn up here and take a left. All the while trying to avoid any hidden police officers that may be trying to catch us speeding. Alright, try to make sure I make this wide enough that we don't hit the car there. And then we gotta go through this roundabout. Oop, I had a feeling he was gonna go through all the way. Alright, go through this roundabout. Then we'll get our head tracking turned off, get ourselves lined up with our parking spot. And we'll be done for this episode. So it looks like they want us to pull in and back it up right there. So let's get turned this way. Looks like we have plenty of room, though. Okay, let's turn that head tracking off, stick our head out the back, get ourselves reversed. And as always, we're going to drive the trailer in this view, so turn left to turn the trailer left, and don't worry about what your truck is doing. Worry about where that trailer's going. So we get ourselves lined up. And then once it's pretty straight, it should be pretty good. Get it over here, dropped off, get our drop-off bonus. Alright, well, hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows that you did and sends the video out to more viewers. We want to get as many people along for these rides as we can, and that can only happen if you press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your video feed and you will be able to watch it as soon as it becomes available. Speaking of that, channel members do get early access to all of my videos, so be sure to click that join button below your viewer so that you can see the list of perks that will show up should you decide to, they won't show up. You'll click the button, you'll see a list of perks, and then you can decide whether you want to join the channel and support the work that I'm doing here. So again, thank you very much for your time. I hope you guys had lots of fun, and I'll see you for the next one.